So, I want to talk about Margaret Thatcher, and we're going to go into two different parts of her legacy. But I think before we get to this, there's something really important just to establish. There's this great uh, Glenn Greenwald piece that he published just yesterday, I think, called Margaret Thatcher and Misapplied Death Etiquette. Uh, and because, you see this after public figures die, there's this rush, and including public figures as, you know, not Margaret Thatcher stature around Reagan stature, like even on the level of just some, malicious kind of, grade D propagandist like Andrew Breitbart, who really has nothing, significant or historical to his legacy. All of a sudden, we can't say anything critical about them, even though the only reason we know who they are and we're speaking about them is their public records. It has nothing to do. We're not speaking as family. We're not speaking as friends. We're speaking as people who have engaged with them in a public way. And if their public records are toxic, they're toxic and they should be spoken about. Anyways, Glenn Greenwald writes in regards to people immediately rushing out in the United States and the UK to demand that there be no kind of critical rhetoric about Thatcher. And I actually just want to point out Martin Bashir on MSNBC has been doing a great job in his segments of really giving a fuller picture of the Thatcher legacy and has been getting a huge amount of hate and pushback for doing this. So he deserves a lot of credit for that. Greenwald writes, this demand for respectful silence in the wake of a public figure's death is not just misguided, but dangerous. That one should not speak ill of the dead is arguably appropriate when a private person dies, but it is wildly inappropriate for the death of a controversial public figure, particularly one who wielded significant influence and political power. And then he goes on to say, the key point here is that those who admired the deceased public figure and their politics aren't silent at all. So we saw this with Reagan, and we're seeing this with Thatcher. It's a two-step. One is the generic, you can't say anything bad about them because a person has just died. Okay, so a person just dying, of course, I'm not happy about that. I don't take any pleasure in that. I don't take, anything in that. I don't have any personal relationship with Margaret Thatcher, and neither do, 99.9% of people commenting on this. So that's sort of neither here nor there. But then the next step is to valorize and try to justify everything they did. Like they have these great heroic legacies. And then you got a two-step where you have 1 week of a news cycle, which everybody's being policed about what they can say about her in terms of even just an objective analysis of her legacy, let alone a critical one. And then everything she did is slid under that. And you saw this with Reagan for a week. And that's why, and it should be clear, in an American context, the Thatcher drumbeat is inseparable from the Reagan drumbeat. That's why it's such a big deal here. So, I mean, I don't know. Do you have like a different take on this notion of speaking ill about the dead, or even thinking about a dead public figure in that way to begin with? Seems kind of ludicrous.
You could speak ill of anybody, dead or alive. I'm all for holding people accountable to what they have done, whether it's good or bad.
That's exactly right. You have to hold people right, exactly. And then this kind of sanctimonious policing of what we can say isn't just, but I think it's really key that it's not just that it's sanctimonious policing. There's a very specific political agenda behind it. Because you want to take Margaret Thatcher and her political legacy out of dispute. That's what you do when you valorize somebody for a week. You take them out of the realm of public discussion when that's exactly what they are. They're a piece of public discussion. I remember with Andrew Breitbart, who I would never compare Andrew Breitbart to Margaret Thatcher here, okay? There's some objective things, being the first female UK prime minister. Margaret Thatcher is a substantive human being. I mean, Andrew Breitbart, no one will even remember in a couple of years besides Louis Gohmert when he, goes and has a good cry at his local tavern every, anniversary of Andrew Breitbart's death. But, people would say when Breitbart died, well, it's really sad that a guy in his 40s died with young children. And of course that's sad, but frankly, like,
You can easily separate their personal lives with what they've done as a public
not only
figure or
not
business.
that's exactly right. And not only that, I mean, look, on the level of it's sad that a father died prematurely. Some guy like laying lines for Verizon probably died prematurely as a 42-year-old. No one's discussing him. And what did he do in the public? That he didn't do anything bad. He helped make, put power lines up. And nobody's talking about him or talking about how sad that is. The only public implications of an Andrew Breitbart, again, are totally toxic. And that should be what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
So, so it's, I think, again, it's not even like, and I know, in Britain, there's the other extreme. Some people are hosting like celebration parties that she died, which I do like think legitimately is kind of tasteless. But the point is, in a place where people actually have to live under her and deal with her, none of this, romanticism is going on. There's a real debate about it.
I think those parties are pretty funny.
Matt thinks those parties are pretty funny. That's why I
think they're
brought it
pretty
up,
funny.
because I thought you would think those parties were funny.
I mean, especially if you're a political figure and decisions you've made have cost people's lives, most likely. I mean, there probably is. You could argue that every political figure has cost someone a life, regardless of where on the what government level they're at. But I mean, it's just, who cares? They're dead. They're seriously. They're not hearing it. They don't hear it. I mean, please.
Well, their families.
Oh,
are hearing it.
please.
Anyways, regardless.
If Margaret Thatcher's family was sitting on Twitter yesterday, checking out what tweets were coming out with her, I'd have to say to them, "Get a life. Margaret Thatcher just died. Why don't you take care of what needs to be taken care
I
of?"
have to say, if
first?"
it's a story for another day, but if you do read about something for kids, they totally could have been sitting on Twitter yesterday. they don't have much going on. But at any
Okay.
rate, moving on to again, it's vital to talk about her legacy, and it's vital that in general, when anybody dies, I saw that with, look on the opposite end of the spectrum. Have a full conversation about Chavez. Nobody was talking about, we need to be quiet because his family's mourning. No, he's a public figure. You assess a public figure. It seems
Whoa. I quietly mourned.
which is your right. Which is your right.
That was very solemn that day.
That was a solemn day.